Hi, this is the Midlife Synthesist, and I wanted to make a quick video about what things you should consider before buying an MPC Live MK2. Here goes. What's up everyone? How you guys doing? Hope you guys are staying safe and the quarantine isn't driving you crazy. I know my quarantine has been pretty productive actually. Been having fun with my synths, hanging out with my daughter, with my wife, and it's been pretty fun. This has been a great year for Akai and MPC users in general. There's the new MPC Live MK2 that just came out. Well, new. A few months back we had the MPC One, so good times for MPC users and for people who want to get into it for the first time. For the people who already have MPCs, it's great because now we get new firmware updates. It's really cool when you already have a piece of gear and it just starts getting free updates. So I'm sure there's a lot of people still complaining because there's a few things that they left out. But come on, honestly, it's a free update. I mean, what's better than that? So you just heard about the new MPCs. Excitement comes up. You're filled with gas. The thing is, if you're new to MPCs, which one would you have? The MPC Live or the MPC One? If you want the MPC Live, do you want the MPC Live MK1 or is it worth the extra bucks to get the MK2? I wanted to make a quick video straight to the point, what my thoughts are on the MPC Live. What I want to talk to you about in this video are 5 things you should know before you get an MPC Live, MK1 or MK2, especially MK2. This is the video that I wish I had seen before I bought my Live, and I think I would have bought the X straight up if I had seen it, or right now I would have bought maybe the MPC One. I'm not trying to convince you not to buy it. I still think it's a wonderful piece of gear, but there are things you should know and things you might consider. At the end of the video, we're gonna do a little roundup and who I think the MPC is really for. I'm not being paid by Akai to say any of this. This video is sponsored by my day job. So one of the main benefits of getting an MPC Live is because it's portable, right? But it's not that portable. It's pretty big and it's pretty heavy. This is the backpack that I normally use. And when I fit the MPC Live, yes, it fit in here, but I couldn't take anything else with me. This is my other backpack. And once again, it fit in here and it fit a laptop, but nothing else. The MK2 is even bigger and even heavier. If you're talking portable synths, this is a portable synth. This, for me, is portable. That is what portable means to me. With the MPC, you're taking your MPC in your backpack, but that's the only thing you're taking. The MPC Live is more of a transportable station, but I'm not sure it qualifies for what I want as portable. Just my 2 cents on that. Now consider this. The MPC Live has a touch screen, so you're not gonna just throw it in your bag. So you either have to like wrap it around something, or you're probably gonna have a carry case. Now with a carrying case, the one I had, for example, basically defeats the purpose. You're taking around an extra bag. And I don't know, in my books, that's not that portable, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's portable, you can take it with you, but it's kind of a hassle. The other thing is, this thing is heavy. And I'm not talking about like when you're picking out a 15-inch laptop or a 13-inch laptop. I'm talking really heavy. Finally, on the portability issue, we all have this fantasy of making tunes on a plane or, I don't know, on a bus or on a train. The thing is, this thing is pretty big. And I tried using it on a plane, on a train, and on a bus. And honestly, first, it attracts a lot of attention. Second of all, it's pretty wide. So if you're on, I don't know, I fly economy. I was bumping into the person next to me, which happened to be my wife, and she wasn't very happy about it. If you're on a bus, you're probably not gonna wanna take it out anyway, because it's gonna draw up too much attention, and chances are you're not gonna make it out of the bus with your MPC Live. So you have to ask yourself, what does portable mean to you? Does portable mean small? Does it mean light? If so, I don't think the MPC is up your alley. Does it mean that you can take it anywhere? Yeah, sure. Most of us have this like fantasy, I personally have it, you know, of making these sweet tracks on your couch or on your bed and just drifting away. And yeah, first of all, that doesn't happen very often. If you live with someone, for example, your wife, you have kids, boyfriend, girlfriend, chances are, if you're on the couch or if you're watching TV with them, they won't appreciate you making music while you're not talking to them. I don't know, that may be just me. If you have kids, bright lights, buttons, touchscreen, that's just like moths to a flame. I mean, kids love the MPC. They love everything that makes noise and shines. So chances are, if you have a kid, especially a small one, you're not going to be able to do much on this, because if you're on the couch, your kid's going to be on the couch with you. And that's not a bad thing. I personally enjoy that pretty much. But I'm not going to buy something just for that. So what I want you to think about is, do I really get that much time alone on a separate part of the house where I have my couch, where I have like this place where I can space out? Or is it more of a fantasy kind of thing? Because in my case, it's complete fantasy. I've never been able to do that. Okay, so all of us have seen lots of YouTubers jamming in beautiful parks and abandoned train stations. The thing is, I don't live near any places like that. So yeah, I have a few places down the block where I could go. But the thing is, this thing is flashy. Probably people are going to notice it, and there is a chance I might get mugged. It's not a very positive thought, but I'm not sure I would comfortably whip out $1,200 in a park where somebody could just take it from me. I don't know about you. So when I had the MPC Live, I never took it to the park. I never took it to a place where basically someone else might want it. So what I would recommend is have a nice long think, talk it over with your pillow and say, am I really going to be able to jam out in the wilderness by myself while a drone films me? Because I don't have a drone and I don't have wilderness nor abandoned train stations. So if that's your situation, maybe the MPC Live isn't that hot. Do you need that speaker? I mean, are you going to go out and jam with people in the outside? Do you have another speaker? Do you have a Bluetooth speaker? Because the MPC Live does have Bluetooth. How often do you really need the battery? That's pretty important too. I thought I needed it, and the thing is, I live in a city. Most of the time, I can plug in anywhere. Planes have electric outlets, trains have electric outlets. Yeah, maybe on the bus, but as I said before, on the bus, you're probably not going to be able to use it comfortably anyway. Maybe you're different. Maybe you get to hang out in places where you don't have outlets, and that's cool. I really wish I could do that too. But if that's not the case, maybe the battery isn't that important. Now, how do you get the notes inside the MPC Live? Obviously, you have the pads. Now, the pads can be either drums or keys, musical notes. And with the new pad Perform, it really opened it up. I mean, I really love composing on it now, because basically you're always in scale, there's no wrong notes, and it always sounds amazing whatever you're doing. So it's really fun, and basically you can waste hours on that. But what I want you to think about is that's a 2-octave keyboard. And the feeling of the keyboard is completely different than the feeling of playing on pads. So are you mostly a finger drummer, or do you like piano style keys? If you like pianos and you're like really used to just playing in the notes on a piano, you're basically gonna have to buy a MIDI controller. And that's another thing you have to fit in your backpack. Now, I used to have the MPC Live with the key step, the normal one, and they didn't fit. I had to have different bags for each one, and that just blows the portability issue completely. And what's more, once you have the MPC Live hooked up to the key step, or maybe a mini lab, it gets even bigger. So it's not a very portable setup at all. It's pretty big, actually. So considering the size of the MK2 with a keyboard, I think the option of the MPC One with a keyboard will be, 1, less expensive, and 2, it's probably going to be smaller and more portable. Now, what do I mean by this? There are people who love composing and making beats on iPads. I am not one of them. Personally, I like the feeling of knobs and buttons way more than a screen. First of all, you get the screen really dirty, and that just, I hate that. Second of all, when you're pressing the screen functions, you're blocking the text on the screen, and that's another thing, a pet peeve of mine. But more than that, it's the muscle memory. You can't develop muscle memory on a flat screen. What you need are buttons and knobs, and you know that this button goes here and this knob does that, and it always does kind of the same thing. And that's what makes the MPC X, for example, a completely different product than the MPC Live or the MPC One. Having the knobs everywhere and having a physical button for everything just sped it up way much more than I thought it would. And when I bought the Live, I didn't buy the MPC X because I thought it was overpriced, and I really couldn't justify paying that much more money for basically the same software. What you have to consider is basically they're two different machines. It's like using Ableton with a mouse versus using it with an Ableton Push. And for those of you who have had the Push 2, it's a completely different experience. It just speeds it up much more, and it's much more enjoyable, at least for me. So not having physical controls was one of the big issues for me why I ended up selling the Live. Now, the MK2 has a few more buttons, and that makes it, I think it's going to be much more enjoyable. Also, the new 2.8 firmware lets you see what the Q-links are doing, like with a quick display, and I think that was just a great fix on it. But you're still limited to those 4 Q-links, and each time you press the button, the function changes. That for me was a huge workflow killer, and basically why I stopped using it. And that's what made the MPC X a lot more enjoyable. So my personal thoughts on this is that having more physical controls, like for example the MPC I, should result in a much better user experience and a faster workflow. The last thing I think you should consider before buying an MK2 is the price tag. Now, I think it's pretty fairly priced. I mean, it has a speaker, it has a battery, it's a great piece of kit, but with the same money, you can buy an MPC I, a MIDI keyboard, a portable battery, a ripcord, and a Bluetooth speaker. And basically you have a huge setup and it actually costs less. You probably already own a portable speaker. You might even already own a battery pack. So if you think about it, what are you really gaining with the MPC Live MK2 besides the speaker and the battery? Of course, if you use the RCA inputs and that's important for you, yeah, you're pretty much screwed. For everyone else, I think the MPC I with a battery pack might be a better option if you really want an MPC. The last thing I want to talk to you about is alternatives. I'm not trying to talk you out of an MPC. I love the MPC workflow, and I think that if you want an MPC, either the MPC I Live or the X are amazing tools. You will make great music on them. And I personally use the MPC X. It's right over there, and I love it. I use it every day. But I think that nowadays there are more alternatives than there were 10 years ago. Notably, the Deluge. I think that's like the closest competitor for me, at least, because it has synths incorporated, it's a sampler, it has a looper, which is much better than the looper on the MPC. The Deluge can, the Deluge can stream directly from the disc, which is something that the MPC users have been asking for since day one, and well, here's hoping for a firmware 3.0. If you enjoyed these kinds of videos, please click that like button and consider subscribing. Maybe I'll make a series about these. I love talking about gear, so if you guys are interested, so am I. So in closing, do I think you should buy the MPC Live MK2? Well, you'd have to be rich, single, have access to some sort of like a man cave where you can be alone, and have no fear of getting mugged if you're outside. So yeah, this is basically Batman's MPC.